Welcome to Focus Beverages educational video series where we try and help give you a basic understanding of various beverage alcohol topics. This particular video pertains to maximizing the distilled spirits flavor credit available to you when you export your alcoholic beverage to the United States. This tax credit is otherwise known as the 5010 tax credit. And this video is being presented to you today by Focus Beverages, where expertise makes the difference. Focus offers a range of products and services well suited for the beverage alcohol industry, whether beer, wine, or distilled spirits, with the knowledge and experience to help you succeed from concept or idea to development, tax guidance, packaging, and bottling. Focus Beverages is your one source for anything related to the alcoholic beverage industry. Now, the objective of this video is to show you how to use Focus Beverage flavors to maximize the flavor credit available to you. And why would you even consider doing this? It's simple. To lower the taxes your importer will pay on your product when they import it into the United States, and for you to use that money to either lower your price point on the shelf or to invest in your brand. Now, people always come up to me and ask me, Robert, how much money are we talking about? Is it truly worth the effort? Well, under 26 U.S.C. Section 5010, you are allowed to take a credit on the alcohol content of eligible flavors, up to 2.5% on a proof gallon basis. By maximizing this flavor, you could theoretically reduce your federal excise tax from $13.50 per proof gallon to $13.16 to $13.18 per proof gallon, a saving of 32 to 34 cents per proof gallon. Now, this could result in a reduction in the amount your U.S. importer pays in federal alcohol taxes when they import their product into the United States, and can result in a savings of over 50 cents per 9-liter case for a 35% ABV product. Okay, so now the question comes down to, what do I have to do to pay this lower tax on my product, and is it complicated and a lot of work? And the truth is, it is not complicated at all, but we understand. We've been doing this day in, day out for years, so it's second nature to us. But if you ever have any questions about this or need any assistance, please do not hesitate to contact us, and we will do our best to give you a hand and help you out through the process. But I think the easiest thing for you to do is to see how an example works, and I think that'll give you a better idea of how this tax credit is applicable. Now, what we've done is we've created a honey apple flavored vodka, and we made this in our laboratory. And this is the formula. This is not taking into consideration any flavor credit. So imagine for a second, you formulate this product, you now sell it into an importer in the United States. When the importer sells this into the United States, he's going to pay a federal excise tax of $13.50 per proof gallon, or $22.48 per 9-liter case. So now let us look at this and say, okay, what can we do to maximize the flavor credit? So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to look at the flavorings used in this formulation to see if they are eligible for the tax credit. As you can see, there are 3 flavors: an apple distillate from Simrise, a honey flavor from Firmenich, and a green apple flavor from Unger. What we first do is we reach out to these flavor companies and request copies of their flavor ingredient data sheets, or FIDS documents. Now, these documents must be provided to every beverage alcohol company that decides to sell their product into the United States. And every flavor company that deals with the alcohol industry will know this. Now, what is an eligible flavor? Well, if you look on this document, you will notice that they have different boxes to check off. An eligible flavor is either checked off as approved for drawback or approved as no action. An ineligible flavor is fit for beverage purposes. Now, as you can see, the natural apple distillate from Simrise is marked as fit for beverage purposes, which means it is not eligible for the flavor credit. Now, to understand what that means, in essence, the government agency in the United States that oversees the beverage alcohol industry is known as the Alcohol and Tobacco Tax and Trade Bureau, or TTB. They evaluate every flavor, and for them, they dilute a flavor that's above 15% ABV down to 15% ABV, and then they consume it. If the product, and I hate to use this word, tastes too good, they do not consider it a flavor, and they consider it an alcoholic beverage, and they make the flavor company mark it off as fit for beverage purposes. Now, this does not mean you cannot use this flavor. You just cannot take the flavor credit. The other thing is you cannot bring this flavor or buy this flavor and import it into the United States and then do your production here in the United States. You can use this flavor so long as the production is done outside the borders of the United States. But again, you cannot take the flavor credit. So now, the flavor itself is sold in Europe, and this product is produced in Europe. So now we have to go back to the original thing, and we have to see what needs to be done. The first thing we need to do is we need to see if the flavor credit is maximized in the original formulation we did. And remember, only eligible flavors can be have the flavor credit taken on them. Now, if you go back to the original formula, you will see that there are two eligible flavors, a honey flavor from Firmenich and a green apple type flavor from Ungra. When we perform the calculations, we see that we have not maximized the flavor credit available to us, so there is room for additional flavors. But now the question comes down to, we have to decide which flavor to use to maximize this flavor credit. Well, you don't want to just use a raspberry flavor or peach flavor or any generic flavor that will impart too much flavor and affect the quality of your product. So in essence, Focus Beverages has over 10 different flavor options that were specifically formulated for this application for you to use. Now the question comes down to is which one is best for you. For this product, we will use our natural fruit flavor enhancer number F1023. This flavor is TTB approved and is approximately 94.8% ABV. Now, if you need additional information on the other flavor blenders and flavors available from Focus Beverages, contact them directly. They have a rum, aged rum, cognac brandy, Scotch whiskey, and tequila flavor also available for your application. And these flavors can be used from various applications, from flavored beer to flavored wine to distilled spirits. Now, at 94.8%, we only need about 1.462 milliliters per liter of this flavor to maximize the eligible flavor credit, and the final formulation will look like this. And as you can see, what we've done is we've decreased the amount of grain alcohol to put in the fruit flavor, and this will give us 1 liter at 35% ABV. Now, we need to calculate the new tax rate, and this is known as a standard effective tax rate. And the first thing we need to do is we need to understand what is the standard effective tax rate and how is it calculated. Now, at the current moment, every time you sell an alcoholic beverage into the United States, the tax is calculated at that moment of time, and then the tax is collected by customs. In lieu of preparing a certificate of effective tax rate computation each time, the TTB will allow you to apply for a standard effective tax rate. And this standard effective tax rate will be established based on the least quantity and lowest alcohol content of the eligible wine or eligible flavors used in the manufacture of the product. And to calculate the standard effective tax rate, you take the excise tax liabilities in US dollars for every ingredient in the product and divide it by the total proof gallons of all alcohol in the batch. And the excise tax liabilities, without going into detail, is the spirits tax, any wine tax, and any flavor above the 2.5% threshold tax. And you divide that by the total proof gallons in the batch. When you do this calculations on the new formulation, you get a standard effective tax rate of approximately $13.18 per proof gallon, or $21.95 per 9-liter case, which is less than the $22.48 per 9-liter case for the original formulation. So you are saving money on the taxes. However, as always, there is a catch. You are adding a new flavor to the formulation, which adds an additional cost, albeit minor, to the formulation. So exactly what is the net benefit to the brand by adding this fruit flavor enhancer and having the additional cost from that and lowering the tax paid by the U.S. importer? Well, if you use the following costs for ingredients: grain alcohol at 71 euro cents per liter absolute alcohol, an exchange rate of 1 euro equals $1.15, and putting in the cost for the fruit flavor enhancer at about 1.8 euros per liter delivered duty paid. And please note that flavor is typically about 1.6 to 1.65 euros per liter in bulk. So I've added a safety margin in there, so the cost and the benefit is actually greater. Now, the net savings for the new product, taking into consideration the additional cost of the flavor with the reduced taxes, is greater than 51 cents per 9-liter case. It is important for the producer and importer to discuss how this net benefit will be shared, as the producer is incurring an additional cost, albeit minor, for the addition of the fruit flavor enhancer, while the importer in the United States is lowering their tax liability. So now we have to summarize the steps necessary for you to get this lower standard effective tax rate. Number 1, you formulate your distilled spirits beverage as you normally would without even thinking of or worrying about any flavor credit. Make the best tasting product. Number 2, collect all the flavor ingredient data sheets from the flavor suppliers and see which flavors are eligible for the 50/10 flavor credit. Number 3, do the necessary calculations to see if the flavor credit is maximized or not. If it is, then you can skip to item number 6 below and calculate your standard effective tax rate. And again, if you need help with these calculations, contact us and we will do our best to help you out. Number 4, if the flavor credit is not maximized, then decide on which flavor you desire to use to maximize the flavor credit and calculate how much of that flavor you need to use. For almost every product, the best blender that we have available is that natural fruit flavor enhancer number F1023, and you can contact Focus Beverages and they'll be more than happy to get you a sample. Number 5, reformulate the product with the addition of this flavor. Remember, adjust the primary alcohol source to take into consideration the additional alcohol from the flavor you have now added. Number 6, calculate the standard effective tax rate for the new formulation. Remember, least alcohol content, lowest percentage ABV. Very important that you do that when you're doing the flavors. Now, at this point, it's up to the U.S. importer to do the necessary paperwork to get the standard effective tax rate. They must apply for a standard effective tax rate. The U.S. importer will prepare a letter requesting the standard effective tax rate and will submit 8 ounces of every ingredient: alcohol, flavors, acids, sugars, everything. He must also submit a 750 milliliter bottle of the finished beverage. He must also then submit a statement of composition for all ingredients, like the alcohol as an example, and get copies of the FIDS documents on all the flavors used. He must then submit the exact recipe as you produced it at the production facility overseas. Ranges at this time are not acceptable. You must give the exact recipe. Then you must show how you calculated out your standard effective tax rate. And you must accompany that calculation by the following statement. The wine used is an eligible wine as defined in the regulations. The flavors are eligible flavors as defined by the regulations. And the standard effective tax rate calculated here is based on the least quantity and lowest alcohol content of the eligible wine and eligible flavors used in the manufacture of this alcoholic beverage. When your importer collects all this information in this documentation, he then sends this into the Beverage Alcohol Laboratory in Beltsville, Maryland, USA. And in about 3 months later, the TTB will issue a letter to you with the new standard effective tax rate. Now, we understand this all can appear confusing, but that is why we are here to help and assist you. If you have any questions or need any assistance with any of this, whether understanding the regulations or performing calculations, please do not hesitate to contact us. Focus Beverages, where expertise makes the difference. Focus Beverages is your one-stop for all your beverage alcohol needs and is here to help you in any way possible. Thank you very much.